Hey lovely people, how are you all doing today? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'm having an indoors day because, just looking out the window, we're having our second day of rain. Hallelujah! The rain came at last. Anyone who's not a gardener is going to probably think you're a loon for being so happy about rain, but seriously, no rain for 10 weeks has been an issue. So I've come indoors, and actually it's probably a good thing we've got rain, because at the least sign of sunshine or even half decent weather, I want to be off outside. I don't like being inside. So a lot of things have been neglected indoors. I'm not much one for housework anyway, but yeah, things have slipped. So I'm having a bit of a day, laundry, cleaning, all that nonsense. Anyway, I thought I'd have a little 5-minute break with you guys, sit and have my cup of tea. Left my cup of tea in the kitchen, never mind. And just kind of have a little catch up on what I've been thinking recently, because I've been thinking again. It was prompted by a message I had from someone, which I'll refer to in a minute. But first of all, I want to do a test. Hands up. Anybody whose parents or grandparents or great-grandparents or auntie or any such like says that phrase, if you look after the pennies, the pounds will look after themselves. That's all I've heard from my family all my life. But it's so true. And of course, now that I don't have a wage, I mean, I've always lived frugally, but now that I don't have a wage, it's more important than ever that I just make sure that I'm minding my pennies, so that hopefully I'm not spending pounds or not spending unnecessarily. Yeah, I live frugally. I don't want to live like a troglodyte. I don't want to live with dirt under my nails and matted hair and grunting at society. I want to be part of society, but I just want to do it, excuse me a second, with as little money going out as I possibly can. Now obviously one of the biggest ways you can save money is to grow your own food, and if you don't have the space to grow your own food, at least make all your own food. You know, I kind of sometimes look at colleagues with their packed lunches and I think, wow, you've spent £3.50, £5 buying your packed lunch from the supermarket on the way to work. That's crazy. Just think in 10 days, in 10 lunches, you've spent what I spend on my allotment garden for the whole year, not including the rent. That's seed and a bit of compost, 35, 40 quid. That seems crazy to me. So like I say, even if you can't grow your own, if you don't have any space, you know, find your local markets, find, you know, you may have a farmer's market near you, or some of the supermarkets, like the Asian supermarkets. I've got a fantastic sort of Mediterranean Turkish market. Go to those places, buy in bulk, so the grains and pulses, that sort of thing, and make your own. Honestly, you will save so much money. And actually talking about the shops, recently, because I've had the time obviously, I'm trying to walk 5k every day just as physio for my knees. I'm not enjoying it, I'll be honest. I used to love walking. I actually used to love running. Wouldn't think anything of doing a 5k run every morning. However, I am trying to walk 5k every day to keep everything moving and to keep the muscles strong, what have you. So the other day I decided, if I'm going to walk 5k, think in terms of 2.5k out, 2.5k back. So, and I did it on a couple of days. I went in one direction on one day, another direction the other day. And this is going to sound so nerdy now. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's really nerdy. But listen, save those pennies. So what I did on on both the days, but in different directions, I did my 2.5k out and 2.5k back, but on the way, I went into as many of the different local shops as I could within that sort of radius of my home to make a note of who's got the cheapest brown rice, who's got the cheapest bottles of olive oil, who's got the cheapest lemons, etc, etc. And it turns out that actually there are 2 shops I mostly go to, but I've now worked out that if I go to 4 different shops, I get an even better deal. Now that's not to say I'm going to go out once a week to all 4 shops, but it's just now that I've done that little recce, if I think, oh, I need lemons, I know which shop to go to because they've got the best and the cheapest lemons. So, like I said, that sounds so nerdy, doesn't it? But seriously, why not? Why just always go to the nearest shop or go to the shop that you always go to because you've always gone to it? Have a little look around. Save some money. But back to what I was saying right at the beginning, this kind of thinking that I've been doing the last few days was all prompted by someone who asked me, having seen video of the kitchen, they asked me where my tumble dryer lives. And I said, I don't have a tumble dryer. And she asked me, well, how do you dry your clothes? And I have to say, I thought this was a bit of an odd conversation because how do I dry my clothes? I put them on the line. Isn't that what everybody does? Apparently not. So I don't know if it seems a lot of people dry their clothes in a tumble dryer. It seems bonkers to me, using electricity to dry your clothes. Now, I would just qualify that by saying, listen, if you've got 3 little ones running around, you know, especially with babies around and you've got a high turnover of washing, I understand it might be different. But if you're a grown-up like me and you don't dribble your food down your, your front, you're not doing that much washing, why tumble dry? It just seems bonkers. So I use, I don't know what everyone else's name for it is, but I use what I call a clothes horse. Some people call it an airing rack or an airer, but it's just a concertina kind of arrangement of wooden slats. You pull it up, you lock the feet down in place, and then suddenly you've got loads of rows to hang your wet linen on. So I hang it on my airer, it goes in the bathroom, a couple of days later, everything's dry, fold it away, put it away, done. So for instance, the other day I was at a friend's house and she lives in a house share with three or 4 other girls, and she was going nuts because both the tumble dryers had been in use all day and she was really cross because she wanted to put her clothes in the dryer. But I said to her, look, it's gorgeous, baking warm, sunny day outside, there's a stiff breeze, put everything on the line. Honestly, they'd be dry in a couple of hours if you put them on the line. But it had never occurred to her to hang her washing out to dry. I don't know, it just seems, I don't know, it seems crazy to me. And also, what's more gorgeous than getting into a bed with clean linen on it that's been hanging out to dry? Oh, that smell. It's one of the things I really miss about not having a garden, is not being able to dry my sheets outside. But never mind. So anyway, it was that conversation about why don't you have a tumble dryer that got me thinking, actually I do have quite a few practices which cut down on the use of electricity. So for instance, just looking around now, all my floors are wooden. So I just use a broom and a dustpan and brush. Don't need to use the hoover. Don't need to use electricity to sweep up crumbs. Done. I put rugs down in the winter just to make the place feel a bit warmer, and then in the spring, take them outside. I'm not going to tell you where I take them. Take them outside, hang them up, give them a bash with an old tennis racket and beat the dust out of them. It's old school, but it works. So yeah, a few more pennies saved not using the hoover. Then it got me thinking about hair dryers, which then led to other thoughts. So I can't remember, I actually honestly can't remember the last time I used a hairdryer. I mean, it must be, I don't own one, it must be 15 years ago or something when I was still an actress. But yeah, so I don't use a hairdryer, so I'm saving on electricity not using a hairdryer. I'm saving on money not having to buy a hairdryer and all the gadgets. But the big thing with not using a hairdryer is I'm looking after my hair. I'm not kind of blitzing it with heat all the time, and by looking after my hair I don't have to go to the hairdresser so often. So I'm not paying sort of 30-40 quid every 12 weeks or so to have the ends trimmed because I've damaged them through whacking heat onto them. No brainer to me. I also, gosh, I don't know, about 3 years ago made the decision to stop colouring my hair. I've had it every colour under the sun, mostly in shades of red or ginger, because I love ginger. I wish I was a ginger. But I kept note one year of how much I was spending, and I just thought that is a crazy amount of money. I mean, it's sort of 120 quid every 3 or 4 months to go to the hairdresser and have everything coloured and then cut, and just that was lunacy to me. So keep my hair kind of, I've just had it cut about 2 months ago, have it cut about once or twice a year. Throughout the rest of the year, I look after it, I don't do nasty things to it, don't put nasty things in it, it stays healthy and happy, done. So like I was saying, just a few of the, I mean, there's so many little things I do in order to not spend money, and I hope that doesn't, how to put it, I hope that doesn't come across as I'm not mean and stingy or scroogey. I love spending money on finding perfect gifts for people. I just don't want to waste it. Excuse me, I'm going to waste it where I don't need to. It doesn't make sense to me. I was also thinking, hopefully most people know about this by now, but, and this applies to UK viewers, I don't know how things work in the rest of the world, but over here with our council tax, it's all done by banding, and the banding works on what your property was assessed to be worth at a certain point when this process came into being. And I think the bandings or the property valuations were done in 1984, not sure. Loads of guides on this on the internet. So a few years ago I checked my banding and I was in the wrong band. They valued the property much higher than it actually was worth. So I was rebanded to a much lower band, so I pay considerably less council tax now than I had been paying. Yay! And also it's worth noting, and I hope you guys know these things, but if you don't, please check them out. If you're a single occupant, you can get a little bit of discount for your council tax. It's kind of stupid because you only get 25% discount, which doesn't make sense to me, because if there are 2 of you living in the property and 1 leaves, that's 50% of the household has left, not 25%. Plus, there's me representing 75%. I could have 10 people move in and they only represent 25%. Doesn't make sense. But at least it's a little bit off. Likewise with the water rates. So again, a few years ago, I looked into having a meter fitted because I know that I am a really small consumer of water. So the water people, whoever they are, came, looked at the property, but because of the configurations of the pipe work in this really old building, they said I couldn't have a meter fitted. However, I therefore, as a single occupant, did qualify for a discount, and I think it's 10%. So again, it's really annoying because I could literally be living next door to a family of 6 who have 2 cars that they wash and a front and back garden that get hose piped and all the laundry from 6 people and I shan't go on. Anyway, like I said, any discount is better than no discount at all. So yeah, check it out. If you, there's various kind of I don't know what you call them, internet websites where you can just Google, you know, council tax reduction, that sort of thing, and you get, most of them have like a sort of step-by-step process to look into it. And go and save yourself a few quid, because if you look after the pennies, the pounds look after themselves. My mum was right. I hate admitting it, but my mum's right. Anyway, guys, it was just a quick little catch up. Just while I'm looking out of the window now to see if there's any let up in the rain, because much as I'm loving the rain for the soil, and much as I need to get on with things indoors, I'd rather be out there playing. So I shall say for now, cheerio, stay well, enjoy the housework if you've got rain as well, and I will see you all again really soon. Take care.